Let's get to a little bit of football. We are going to start a series here over the next few podcasts. Was it 8 of them? That will do a breakdown of each division. We are not going in any particular order, but this division right here has a bit of news coming to the sports world with the contracts and a lot of the agents talk that's coming out. This is the NFC least, or the East, if you will.
Beast.
This is the Commies, the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Giants. The two biggest pieces of news that are coming out of here are the contract disputes that are coming from the Cowboys with Ceedee Lamb and, excuse me, that the other one is for a different division. So that is the main one coming out for this division right now. We can go team by team. Let's start off with the Cowboys with this contract dispute that we've got going on here. Ceedee Lamb has told Jerry Jones and the Cowboys that he wants to be at least the second highest paid receiver in the league. They've only got Dak Prescott for this last remaining season on his contract. What are our thoughts revolving around the Cowboys with this upcoming 2024-2025 season?
Dumpster fire.
They're in the same position they always are. You got dumbass as the owner, the GM. You got a dumbass as the coach. Not surprising.
But guys, they brought back Zeke Elliott.
The big move, baby.
Big move.
Big the fucking needle
Let him
mover,
eat.
baby.
Let him
His
eat.
name. Let him eat.
The one big move they made all offseason. Congrats, Cowboys.
They did improve their offensive line. I'll give them credit.
They didn't make the move to restructure Dak. So this being the last year of his contract, you would think there would be a little more sense of urgency in that front office to add some pieces, because Zeke and Tony Pollard worked all right together, but who's Tony Pollard now in this offense? Like
He's gone.
what
He's gone.
I know.
Tony.
I'm-
Yeah. Oh, I
I
got you.
know.
I see what you're
Who's
saying.
taking that spot?
Who is Tony Pollard's role? That mini Deuce Vaughn is not going to be able to take that kind of load share in an effective offense. Like there's a lot of head scratching lack of moves, and Zeke being the only big move. I mean, dumpster fire is what it is and what it will be. They will not win the NFC East.
Do you think they're even going to be competitive though, like similar to last year, or do you think they fall off a cliff this year with disputes with CD and everything?
I think instead of falling off a cliff, I think maybe they like skid down the hill a little bit. Like I don't think the Cowboys aren't going to have a losing record in my opinion, but I mean, like I said, they're not going to win the NFC East.
I don't see a situation where they even compete for the NFC East. Like they may make the playoffs by a hair on their nutsack. Like it's not going to be close. They did not get better. And Jerry Jones quotes all offseason right before the draft was, "We're all in." And what did they do? Move everybody out. They got worse. They brought in Zeke. They let Pollard go. They let some other guys on the defense go. Where did they get better at? They didn't hardly use Brandon Cooks last year. Do you really see that changing this year, being their number two? Their tight end position isn't any good. You've only got Ceedee Lamb.
Jake Ferguson's pretty
Like
good.
I said, I like Jake Ferguson a lot.
He's a fine
guy
player,
doesn't
but
know
he's
that.
not their number two. He is not a guy who can be a number two when you need him to be a number two. And that's all they have.
Maybe in his second year he can. Maybe he's going to make that jump.
And with the way that their offensive play calling is, without Kellen Moore, I don't see that as a tight end being their number two. Maybe he's good enough in literally any other offense. Maybe. I don't see it, but it's possible. But
I just think the biggest question isn't running back though. Like who is like Zeke is? There's no way they're talking him as the number one guy right now. But how can you go into a season with the Zeke that we've seen the last 5 years? I don't understand that.
And be comfortable.
I really
with it.
don't know.
Like,
I mean, yeah,
be excited
I mean,
about Zeke being your running back. Like, come on.
It's because you
He's a
have
fumble.
Royce
they
Freeman.
brought Royce Freeman into it, but yes, still.
Royce Freeman should be their number one over Zeke. Zeke is a fumble machine. He can't catch out of the backfield. He's proven that his entire career outside of Ohio State.
He can play multiple positions, man. He was below average or pretty terrible offensive lineman, but he can play multiple positions.
I was just gonna say, yeah, he can play center, fine.
I
Bad
think
enough to.
Zeke's biggest talent is wearing a giant hand towel while he plays.
You mean that beach towel?
Yes.
That is not a
He
hand
took it
towel.
right out of the hotel and just like stuffed it in his pants. That's all
Look
he's
at that.
known for, man. His rookie season and wearing a giant towel when out on
And the
the
crop
field.
top.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
look at their
well, that
defense
was
too.
college.
Their defense, they lost a lot and did not replace it. I mean, they lost Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler Jr., along with Leighton Vander Esch, who was kind of the key cog of the middle of their defense. I guess Stephon Gilmore, some will argue he's past his time, but still, they lost all those guys and really didn't bring anybody in.
I mean, they
It's,
did bring in Eric Kendricks. You do still have Trayvon Diggs. I'm not a big
is
believer in
Diggs
Trayvon
healthy though?
Diggs.
Like,
He'll
are we?
be he'll be healthy this season. He'll be fine. He'll be back and ready. He had
You got Deron
majority of
Bland
last
still back
season.
there? Are you
Yep.
forgetting
You
about
also
Deron
have
Bland?
Malik Hooker. But yeah, no, the defensive line outside of like their edge rushers is awful. Mozzie Smith and Osa, whatever that last name is. I'm not gonna sit here and try to butcher that.
Oh,
Um,
come on.
it's not good. Like, yeah, you still got Demarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons on the outside, but there's no depth. There's nobody creating pressure or plugging up holes in the middle. That and we did say they brought in Eric Kendricks, but that guy is so far past what he was able to do in Minnesota. That is going to be a leaky sieve in that secondary and in that linebacking core come this season. I don't think Micah Parsons is probably going to be able to do much because that the middle of the field is going to be wide open all season.
All right, let's get down to it. What does Vegas have for their win-loss for the
Yeah,
season?
Vegas has win-loss for the Cowboys at 12.5
Good
wins.
God,
Oh,
I'm under all day.
that's an easy under for me, dog.
12.5. I'll take under. Yeah.
I don't even want
I
to see
mean,
their schedule.
when I look at some of the other teams in the NFL, how can you say it's going to go over? I just don't understand it.
I,
Was
they're
that
gonna
was that a
have
push?
that's a push.
It's got to go under. I mean, it's like I just don't see a world. I mean, their first three games,
And
Cleveland, New Orleans, Baltimore. I mean, there's at least two losses there.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Or
I'm
three
looking at the
wins.
schedule. This schedule is still tough. Like you're still gonna have to play the Lions, the Niners, the Falcons. You've got the Eagles and the Texans, the Bengals. Yeah, no, that's an easy under.
and granted, if they do have an offensive explosion like a couple years ago where like they got the best offense in the league and Dak's throwing it really good, as soon as they get to the playoffs, we all know what's going to happen. Even if they go over that 12.5 mark, it's the season is literally going to be all for naught for Dallas. They're going to be in the same spot that they've been in every offseason, making a playoff game and a one and done.